Hello, everyone. Welcome to Elephants in the Room, where we'll be tackling the big topics like mental health, technology, the LGBTQ, and more. Our goal is to encourage and empower parents to be bold in having difficult conversations with their kids and teens. We have 6 awesome speakers that we can't wait for you to hear. Thank you for joining us.
So I would like to introduce you to our speaker. His name is Joseph Mankin. You can come on up, Joseph. And Kevin, where are you? You can come on up too. Let me tell you a little bit about Joseph. Joseph is a youth minister in Nashville. He works for the Hillsborough Church of Christ. He's been doing it, I think, since 2006. Yeah, so he's been a long-time veteran youth minister. He is kind of like the tech guru in the Churches of Christ, specifically with like youth ministry and teenagers. He's married to a wonderful woman named Courtney. They have 2 children. So he's one of y'all too. Like he's a peer in this ball game. Came in last night. He brought his friend Daniel. Daniel's here, so we're glad you're here, Daniel. But just super thankful for what you have. I know all of our parents are really hungry for this, and so just thank you for being here.
Thanks for being here this morning. My name is Joseph. I'm here with my good friend Daniel. My family couldn't make it this week. My daughter had a couple sick days earlier in the week, and then my son had a lot of basketball games this weekend. But Abby and my wife, Courtney, are really good friends, and she was really disappointed that she couldn't be here. But it's all good, and we're glad to be here. We were welcomed with an amazing gift basket in our room, which was really, really nice. And then we walked down to breakfast this morning, and we were greeted by a guy getting breakfast shirtless. So I don't know the way y'all run here in Arkansas, but it's just one of those things. I was like, this is fun. This is fun. Like, clothing optional when you eat breakfast in Arkansas. You know, that's pretty good stuff. But yeah, we're glad to be here. This is an exciting topic. So I am so glad to start this conversation. That's key in this conversation because it's not going to end today. I'm going to leave today. I don't know if I'll ever be back, but there's a thing that I need you to receive today so that you can actively start this conversation personally and with your children, possibly grandchildren, or just people you know. But we're going to walk through a lot. I can talk pretty fast. I'm going to get through a lot of stuff here pretty quickly. But this is being recorded, so you can listen to this on slower recording if you need to after we go through this. So how many of you just think sometimes you got it all figured out, but then something happens? Kind of like this right here. You're just kind of trying to find how to plug in the cord. This happens all the time with life, is you're trying to figure out where it fits. Like, where do I fit in? And then finally you figure it out. You got to all right, I need a better look at this. And you get it in, and then what happens? It's just the way it goes, right? I mean, that's kind of life. Just when you think you got it figured out, something else comes out. The new phone comes out. The new technology comes out. The update comes out. I just learned the last one. And we get lost in this conversation. And it's difficult sometimes. And sometimes we are not even ready with the one we had before the next one comes out. And so that's where we're gonna walk through some of that, to how to appropriately live with technology than without it. Because a lot of people that I talk to think it's better to live without it. And there's an extent to that. There's times that we need to be able to say, hey, I'm going to put a pause button on this, or I'm going to put this away or turn it off. But in reality, I believe God created this to do amazing things. And if we don't believe that, hopefully today will help you understand that there's great things God can use technology for. So real quick pop quiz. Question number 1, what's the most viewed video on YouTube? Any guesses? Baby Shark? You're actually correct. Baby Shark is the answer, so congratulations on that. What year was Snapchat created? Anybody guess? 09? 13? The answer is 2011. So sorry you were wrong on that one. But the next one is this. How many minutes per day do U.S. children ages 4 to 15 spend on TikTok? This is per day. And this is U.S. only. So we've got 90, 60, 75. Show of hands, 90. Show of hands, 60. Whoa, 1. Thank you. Show of hands, 75. Okay, it's actually 75 minutes. It was tricky because you always think it's, the most, but it's not on this one, 75 minutes. So the big thing that I ask everybody to remember as we jump into this conversation is I really challenge you to take care of your fingerprint first. There's a reason why you have a fingerprint, and God gave that to you. But today I ask you to do that, say, all right, me, let's figure this out. Because it's so easy in this conversation to point fingers. So easy. And I bet you probably know somebody that points fingers in reality. But the reality is, we have to do this in our own homes, in our own spaces, and be able to use this for something that I think God can use for even greater things than we can imagine today. So the question I want to ask you right now is, how well does your brain perceive what you see? So I need one person that's really good. Well, let's just see, one person that's really good at colors and one person that's really good at reading. Who can do both of those? I just need one volunteer that's good at reading and recognizing colors. Nobody? Should I ask the guy that had no shirt on for breakfast to come? All right, thank you so much. All right, what's your name, sir? Rowdy. Nice to meet you, Rowdy. I'm Joseph. So I'm going to show you on the screen. You can look at the screen. It's going to be 3 sets of words. So we're going to read the first column first, second column, and then third column from top to bottom, okay? And the first thing, I just want you to read the words you see, and then I'm going to ask you to read the colors. So are you ready for this? Read the words. That's all you got to do. So first column, start at the top.
Yellow, purple, black, blue, red, yellow, green, red, blue, orange, green, black, red, black, purple.
Awesome. You did that really fast. Good job. Now I need you to do the exact same thing, but just do the colors, not the words. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Go.
Green, red, yellow, green, black, purple, red, blue, purple, red, blue, red, or black, green, yellow, black, green.
Now I'm going to ask you one more time. You said you knew your colors, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right.
I'm
Just
an
make.
ex-art teacher.
Oh, good. Yes, I'm an art major. So congratulations. Thank you, Rowdy. Appreciate it. You did great. So let's hear it for Rowdy real quick. All right. So this is one of those moments where you really try to perceive what you already know. And when it comes to technology, sometimes we think we know what we see, but we actually aren't really reading it the way it was actually written to be read. Kind of like this. It doesn't matter in what order the letters in a word are. The only important thing is that the first and the last letter be at the right place. The rest can be a total mess, and you can still read it without problem. This is because the human mind does not read every letter by itself, but the word as a whole. So the reality to this is we all are capable of doing things that we don't think we're capable of doing. And the way that what we're trying to do today is to help you maybe unlearn some things so that you can relearn something that technology uses for God's advantage, but for your benefit, okay? So today we're going to learn a little bit about the brain. This is it. It takes 5 years to master a language. It takes 6 years for seeing and hearing to occur in a child's life, 9 years for musical instruments, 15 years for remembering and problem solving, and 25 years for recognizing peer pressure. So this is a big span of life. If you didn't know this, the brain continues to develop all the way up until 25, and then after that, it kind of settles, and we start to kind of put our roots in the ground and say, this is who I'm going to be for the rest of my life. But in reality, we can take these moments of time where changes are occurring. I'm a millennial. I'm like the oldest millennial in the world, but I just turned 40. But the reality is, in these moments of millennialness, for me, I know life without technology, and I know life with technology. There will never be another generation in the history of this world that has that ability to see both sides. Because my parents, my grandparents, they grew up 25 years in their life with only telephones and TV and radio. But my kids only know a life with technology. They take a picture and they say, let me see it. That's not something that an older generation says. So there's a gap there, and we'll discuss that in a second. Because here's the social media timeline. So in February 2004, Facebook was created. In February 2005, YouTube was created. And then in March 2006, here comes Twitter. October 2010, here comes Instagram. And then in September 2011, sneaky Snapchat. And then August 2018, officially TikTok, which was formerly Musical.ly, hit the scene. Now, some of you may not know what all these are, and that's okay. I don't want you to feel intimidated by this. We're not going to go through all that because we don't have time today. I'm literally trying to fit in a 3-hour seminar into 40 minutes. So with this, this is what I want you to understand. Facebook is only 18 years old. YouTube is 17 years old. Twitter is 16 years old. Instagram is 11 years old. Snapchat is 10 years old. And TikTok is only 3 years old. Now, there are countries in the world that have banned TikTok. We even heard on the news a few years ago that we're trying to ban TikTok. Now, all of these things have bad things on them. I think we can easily agree on that. Even Facebook has really bad things on it. But we get lost into finding the one that we can point fingers at because we're not a part of that world. And when you try to point fingers at something that is identifiable for a teenager's mindset, saying, I live on this platform, then you're basically pointing fingers at them. And then they become attacked or ashamed, or they might feel discouraged or have this anxiety built in. It's like, my parents don't see it the way I see it. Now, don't get me wrong. There's bad stuff on there. If you get on TikTok for the first time, you're gonna stumble across a lot of stuff that you're like, oh, this is bad. But that's what they want you to do. They want you to get into that, and it creates an algorithm that remembers what you viewed, what you liked, and what you didn't like. And it's not just because you liked something by double tapping a screen, it's actually how long you watch it without touching anything. And they know this. You agree to these terms of service when you actually agree to be a part of Instagram or TikTok or Twitter or whatever. You click that button and say, I agree. Did you read it? Probably not. Even the creators of Snapchat said on their website, we cannot guarantee that every image would be permanently deleted. And when you tell a teenager that, or a tween that, they get scared because they think, well, I was just sending that one picture. It literally was only out there for 1 second, and they only saw it for 1 second. And I know they didn't screenshot it because I didn't get a notification that it said it was screenshotted. So I don't know. I'm nervous now. I'm like, yes, you should be. Because when you take that picture with that phone, it then goes up into the World Wide Web, which the first word is World Wide Web, goes to the satellites, goes to all the different things, and then it goes to their servers. Well, I don't know where those are, but it goes to Snapchat servers, then it goes back up into the World Wide Web, and then it goes out to that cell phone, and they view it, and they say, oh. And then when that young girl or young guy takes that one picture, and they're like, I can get their attention the way with wearing this or not wearing this, then that one image then hits that haystack of Snapchat servers. And there on their website, it says, we cannot guarantee that these are permanently deleted. And so if you're confused by what Snapchat is, it's literally an opportunity to be able to share pictures. It's the new texting for a young generation. It's so much easier than texting. And it's not really communication in what we know it to be. It's communication of acknowledgement that they saw you. And that's all it is. And some of you are thinking, why? It's a new way to talk. It's a new way to communicate. Just like new words, new acronyms, new ways of communication, punctuations, whatever it might be, uppercase, lowercase, all these different things matter to this next generation, or don't matter to some people's English teachers out there, don't matter to the next generation, and we have to be aware of these communication styles. So what we're going to talk about just for a few minutes is this: how does social media influence the perception of your life story? So go back to that fingerprint conversation we just said. Your Instagram, your Facebook, your Twitter, your TikTok, whatever you have, how does that influence the perception of your life's story? Because sometimes we are pointing people more to us than we are to God. Sometimes we are allowing our platform to get us more popular, and sometimes we want the platform of whatever political party we are a part of, or whatever sport team that we love, or whatever it is. We think that's the most glorious thing to be able to tell people about. And that's not wrong. I'm not telling it's wrong, but that's what you are identified by. And so with this is in the mind of a student, if someone you trust loves something, it's easy to love that too. That's why the algorithms work. That's why your Facebook feed, your Instagram feed is full of stuff that connect to who you are. You're like, man, they just know me so well. Yeah, because they're following you, even though they're not really following you as a follower. And so in this, if someone you don't trust hates something, it's easy for you to hate that too. I'm not talking about the people you don't follow. I'm talking about the things that you like that present hate in today's world. And with all of that in what's going on in the technology world, it starts to build this understanding of who you are and what you represent in today's world. It's a challenge to all of us. And your children are not learning it from their peers. I'm going to say this one more time. Your children are not learning it from your peers. They're learning it from your home. Because when you get mad at your kids and you think, oh, why are they on this or why do they do this? Well, it's because they see mom or dad on their phone at the dinner table while they're trying to talk and say, hey, can I get your attention? Hey, I was at a basketball game yesterday and I saw a granddad on his phone, just sitting there on his phone, and his granddad was going pop, 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 pop. Nothing. And it's because we're lost in these devices. And they're great. They do great things. It keeps us communicated and connected to the world, but they cannot be a controlling factor of who you are. We've got to be above that and be of reproach in trying to do live a better lifestyle with that. So your perception of life on social media can seriously impact your emotional and mental health. And what I mean by that is if you think everything on all platforms are horrible, from the devil, and wrong and bad, then that's the perception you're going to think and you're going to portray to everyone else in the world. There's nothing good on there. Nothing good on there. And then you can't say, everything's great. You can't just be oblivious on the other side and say, everything's great. We have to be able to decipher what's right and what's maybe wrong and do our best to live in that middle ground of saying, all right, I'm not gonna like that, or I'm not gonna follow that, or I'm just gonna swipe past that and get past that, not let my mind dwell on those things. Because the stats prove this. 45% of parents say they feel addicted to their mobile device. 1 in 4 parents argue with their kids about a mobile device every single day. And 29% of kids say they keep their device in bed with them at night. I'm talking under their pillow because they never want to be disconnected. They live in a world that if they tell their friends, hey, you can always reach me, they want that to be always, not just sometimes. That's why they don't even know how to turn off their phone. When their phone dies, their mood changes. Some of you might experience that. If your phone dies, like, I'm lost. I don't know what to do. But I want to show you this quick video. It's created by the Common Sense Media. It's a great video. It's actually from 2019, but check this out. It's pretty good.
So throughout the day, I use my phone a lot.
I wake up, I probably check it before I take a shower.
Try and separate from it, but it's hard.
So I have 2 cell phones, a personal cell phone and a work cell phone.
In the situation where I lose my phone, I actually could be quite stressed out and panicked.
Whenever I don't know what to do, my first instinct is to pull out my phone.
No, I wouldn't say I'm addicted to my phone. I think I just use it a little too much. It would be kind of challenging to go for a long amount of time without my phone.
I'd say it's not too much time. I'd say it's just balanced.
I do sometimes wake up because of notifications.
I try not to sleep with my phone on the pillow next to me. I use my phone as an alarm.
3 or 4 times a week, it will be an inconvenience that I'm woken up and I can't go back to sleep. It happened this morning.
Phone usage and screen time usage is a big problem, and it does cause a lot of fights.
Phone use doesn't really cause arguments.
They're never big arguments. They're mainly just little scuffles.
My wife will catch me and, give me that really look on her face.
I'd say more of the battles are with him getting off the phone.
I'd like to be better at that.
It's been a concern because the phone use or device use by my son is what everybody else is doing now. It's kind of the norm for them. We have to set boundaries. If he could, he would play it all day long, and it's not healthy.
I think one of the important words in that is understanding healthy boundaries in our life. And one of my goals that I try to get across is we're not trying to eliminate everything. We're trying to do a better job of actually putting boundaries in these areas, whatever it might look like. But in reality, in 2022, I think it's very much time for a healthy evaluation of our technology habits. And the questions I like to ask in these moments is, do you grab your phone before getting out of bed in the morning? Think about it. Honestly, you wake up, your eyes open, and the first thing you think is, where's my phone? And that's happening. And I'm not saying that's inherently wrong, but it's just a part of life that's become a normal habit for us. I'm guilty of that too. I'll get my phone and I like to have inbox 0. That's just the way I do life. And I do my best to do that almost every morning. And that's an unfortunate habit in my own life. But in the reality is if students look at this, they're looking to see who liked my stuff or who contacted me overnight so I can respond to them. Question 2 is, do you choose clothing based on pockets to carry your phone? Teenagers these days are like, it's just a part of my hand now. That's why I have that pop socket on the back of it, so I can actually just never lose it. I'm not surprised they haven't created gloves. If you want an invention, you should create a glove that has a phone adapter to it, so you're just like, I got it. It can do whatever. But there's just things. I just thought of that just now. That may be something we need to think about, but I think that'd be kind of cool. Number 3, does your attitude dramatically change when your battery dies? Being a youth minister, I've seen students just fall apart when their battery dies. Like, they're like, game over. Might as well just pack up and go home because they don't know how to respond. But their excuse is, if I have an emergency. And I'm like, we've all survived emergencies, I believe, before, but they don't realize that because their emergencies are totally different. Because urgency doesn't always equal an emergency in my life, but in their scenario, if it's urgent, we got to do it. We got to stop everything right now. And we've got to understand the control behind that and say, let's take a deep breath. Let's take a deep breath real quick. And then last but not least, do you feel your leg vibrate even when you don't have your phone? This is actually called ghost spasms. Some people maybe have experienced this before. You're like, what is that? I don't have my phone on me. That's weird. Why is my leg moving? And it's because we're so used to having these devices in our front, back pockets or whatever that our body is responding to that device. Isn't that crazy? And you know what I'm talking about. That's what's even crazier. So we have to ask ourselves this, is technology helping or hurting the future? Some people have great answers for both sides on this, and I'm here to help you have a healthy evaluation of what you think it might be. Because the influence of social media is this. Do you believe social media will continue to change? Absolutely it'll change. It's going to change. There's just things changing by the day. Facebook just bought WhatsApp. WhatsApp is the #1 communicating app in the world for you to be able to communicate with people in other countries without having to have these long distance, fees if you're in somewhere else. WhatsApp's all through Wi-Fi, so you don't have to have a technical cell phone service to be able to do that. As long as you're in Wi-Fi, you can call, text, whatever you want to do through that. What will social media look like in 10 years? Who knows? I do know that Meta, which is the new name for Facebook, Meta has decided to create virtual reality as the next phase for everything. The Metasphere is a new thing that they're trying to get people to buy into so that you can be home and be a part of Metasphere and actually participate with other people around the world and actually do life. You can create 3 different avatars, one for yourself, that's you, one for your business, which is your business profile, and one for fun, which you could be a rhinoceros if you wanted to, or an elephant, whatever you want to be. Like in those, you can create these profiles and go experience life in the meta world, which is Oculus for those that didn't know what that was, which is virtual reality, which didn't know what Oculus was. It just keeps changing all the time. So you have to be very aware of that kind of stuff. This is things I like to teach students. Online etiquette. Is it okay to post something without someone else's permission? No. Now, if you're in youth group and you're that, I do challenge youth ministers and anybody else in whatever ministry you have. It's harder in children's ministry, actually. Just ask your parents, is it okay if we do something? Can we post this? Just get permission for that kind of stuff. Do you have limitations of who you are allowed to connect with on social media? I hope you do. I hope it's not just this free will of I'll follow you if you follow me. I'll follow back, get a follow back. We don't have to do that. Just kind of be aware of your feed and what you're filling your mind with on a daily basis. And then there's age milestones. Do movie, app, music ratings matter to you? There's actually a button, if you have an iPhone, there's a button you can turn it on and explicit anything will be taken out of the phone. You can do this on iPads. You can do this on any device that you just click one button and says remove. It's under parental controls, and you can do that underneath the settings, and you turn that on, and then it just removes all explicit. Now, the world has changed. Now, if we believe this, PG nowadays is like PG-13, and PG-13 is like R back in the day. It's just changed, right? But the thing about this is there are a lot of explicit language things or content that get past that because it's not considered explicit anymore. People have become desensitized to these type of things, and therefore it doesn't matter anymore. So you have to be careful in those settings. And then why did the tech companies create age requirements for social media accounts? Because they knew that they would get in trouble if they didn't. They're just covering themselves so that make sure they're not, oh yeah, underage, they're not on here. Yeah, they are. They're just saying that they're another age. And a lot of times I see parents say, oh yeah. Oh yeah, you need my account for that? Just type it in and give it to them. The most dangerous thing in my brain is to give a child your phone or your device because you're an adult and they're not. And a lot of times we just say, oh yeah, here it is. Just take this. And then they're like, oh, well, okay, unfiltered, whatever. They can just find whatever they want to do. Or you don't even set it up in a way that you just add it to your account. Like, oh yeah, John has like 17 devices. No, I don't. I just have 3. Well, all these others are my kids' devices, but they're all underneath your account. Set them up as a kid's account, and I promise you, the devices, whatever device you have, they have kids' accounts built into this kind of stuff. But you actually have to create them their own account. And that's valuable to their healthy mindset as they move forward and get older. So here's some just signs of addiction in my social signs of addiction is withdrawing from face-to-face interaction. They just don't look at you in the eyes anymore. They completely just look down. And we have to be aware of these signs. Consistent anxiety or feeling overwhelmed by normal routines. Hey, go take out the trash. Oh, no, I can't. Like, what? What just happened? I can't, I can't do this. It builds up too much anxiety. Anxiety within itself, healthy amounts actually create good habits. But when it starts to take the driver's wheel, the steering wheel of your life, that's when it creates a downward spiral in our life. So we have to figure out how to live a balance of that. But avoidance of real life responsibilities, chores or homework is like, no, I don't have time for that. Unresponsive to people in front of you, like just not even know, I didn't even know they were here. Had no clue they were here. And phones begin to create conflict in close relationships. Well, I saw you did this. I saw you did this. And it just creates conflict. Or then parents don't say anything, and they think, oh, they're just on the phone all the time, so the next time you see them on their phone, put that up! Get that out of here! And you do these things to them, and you're like, whoa! As a child, like, what just happened? Because you've been building up inside of you for so long that you just wanted the control of saying, get off that. I grew up an Atari kid. And every time I would get on my Atari, my dad would walk in. I could be on the Atari for 1 minute, and my dad would walk in and say, get off that. My dad's a farmer. He's a field engineer. He does big things. I'm a youth minister that talks about technology. We're very different. He wears boots. I've got white shoes on. Like there's a difference in us. I love my dad. I love him. But the reality is, like, he didn't see it the way I saw it, but we didn't have an option to have the communication of why we do what we do. And that's where it gets hard. We've got to be able to explain why we do what we do. So here's a few things that I want to challenge you to understand. Good stuff. Recognize the ratings that they're there for a reason, so choose the good stuff. Watch, listen, and play together. Like, experience these things. These are like common experiences create better conversations. If they love Minecraft, go play Minecraft. Just try. If they're on Snapchat all the time, go up to your child, if you don't have a Snapchat account, and say, hey, I'm thinking about getting a Snapchat. What do you think? I promise they'll have something to say. But just have that conversation. Like, have that conversation and do something about it. And number 3, walk the walk. Do what you ask, lead by example. If you ask them to be off their phones, be off your phone at dinner. If you ask them to do this, you better follow the same rule. Just have a common rule for everybody in your house, and then keep a balance. Mix physical exercise with brain activity. It really helps. If you love music, if your child loves music, hey, let's listen to music, let's go for a walk. Mix these things up. Try to challenge them in this, and then also, most importantly, watch the clock. Time limits and tech-free zones are a good thing, even on vacation. A lot of times we throw out all the rules on vacation. Maybe include a new rule on vacation for these type of moments. Because what the problem is with all of this is that we are lost in a world that's telling us how to live, and this is my example of what it looks like. It's called scrolling emotions. So when you get on your phone and you get into the technology of Instagram or whatever your feed might be, you start scrolling. And what are you going to see? You're going to see a wedding. You're going to see maybe a new birth of a baby. You're going to see someone just had a tragic announcement in their life. Maybe they just discovered they had cancer. Or maybe somebody just passed away. Or maybe somebody is sharing their political rights to be able to share freedom of speech. And then we come over here and you're like, oh, I'm just sharing a picture of a pretty sunset with a verse on it. And if you scroll through just that amount of time, Your body, your mind, your emotional state was not designed to be able to receive all of that in 7 seconds. We're not created that way. But we're allowing ourselves to scroll through these emotions day after day after day. And we think it's our responsibility to like. So in these moments, I challenge you to understand that we have got to understand that that is influencing our daily habits. And then I'm going to show you this. This is really great. And I've got one more question, we'll be done. We are living currently in a generational communication gap, and this is my best example for what that looks like.
Happy birthday to you. We love you, Cheyenne. Happy birthday. Hope it's awesome.
Happy birthday, Shay Shay.
Happy birthday. Love you.
Uncle Gene passed away this morning.
We got a gap. We think we got to take advantage of this moment. I've already said happy birthday. Now I got to fill in some more information in this moment. Uncle Gene, poor Uncle Gene, passed away. So for us today, I'm going to leave you with this. I apologize I didn't get through all my slides today, but this is our challenge. Take what you learned today and be the change the world is waiting for. God's just sitting there saying, hey, I know it's going to happen. I just need people to start doing it. Start responding. Like, be that change. Do the thing that you want your kids to love you for. Even if it seems hard at times, like taking away things or setting boundaries, I promise you, if you allow your children, your grandkids, whoever, to help create those rules, rather than you just be the dictator and say, do this, do this, do this, they will follow those rules for longer than you expect. For my kids, 12-year-old and 7-year-old, I got my son an iPad for his birthday in 2020, and I said, hey, what rules do you want to have on this? I said, how much time do you want to spend on this? And he was like, 30 minutes a day. And I said, that's great. I'm going to give you an hour, just so that they know that, like, Dad's on your team, so that we can have this conversation together. So start that, do that, be in constant conversation. If they ever run across something that they don't know how to respond to, I hope that your household is a safe space for them to walk up to you and say, hey, Mom, hey, Dad, this happened to me today, and I don't know where else to tell. I don't know what else to do about this. That's your advantage to being the parent. So do the best you can. We don't expect perfection at all. Just throw that out of your brain. Jesus did really good at that. No one else has. So just do your best to allow yourself to experience heartache and failure in this, because you're going to experience it, but respond well. Be open, be honest, and be accurate in how you want your rules to be displayed. Find sacred spaces at your house so that you know this is an area that we're going to experience family time, whatever that might look like, and just do your best. And I want to be a resource. Emily and Abby back here, they're good friends of mine, and Micah too. I just met Micah earlier today. But like anybody, and just kind of just reach out to me if I need. But be a resource to the people you're sitting with this morning. Allow these spaces to be great for you to allow technology to do something great for God's kingdom rather than abolish it from the history of this world. So thanks for letting me be here. Y'all are awesome. Sorry we didn't get through all of it, but it's good.